Lily lived in a small, cozy farmhouse nestled among rolling green hills. Her days were filled with sunshine and laughter. Mama, with her warm hugs and gentle songs, always made her feel safe. Papa, strong and kind, would lift her high in the air, making her giggle. Her two brothers, Tom and Sam, were her best friends. They would chase butterflies in the meadow, build forts in the woods, and tell each other silly jokes until their bellies hurt from laughing. Every morning, the smell of Mama's freshly baked bread would fill the house. They would all gather around the wooden table, sharing stories and dreams. Lily loved helping Mama in the garden, planting colorful flowers and picking juicy red strawberries. In the evenings, Papa would read them exciting tales of faraway lands and brave knights. Their little farm was their whole world. They had chickens that laid speckled eggs, a cow named Daisy that gave them creamy milk, and a playful dog named Buster who followed Lily everywhere. Life was simple, but it was perfect. Lily couldn't imagine anything ever changing. She felt safe, loved, and happy, surrounded by her family in their little piece of paradise. It was a life filled with warmth, love, and the simple joys of being together. But the happiness wouldn't last. One evening, the sky turned an angry black. The wind howled like a hungry wolf, and rain lashed against the windows. Papa hurried everyone inside, his face etched with worry. The storm raged through the night, louder and more violent than anything they had ever experienced. Suddenly, a deafening crack echoed through the house. A giant tree, struck by lightning, crashed onto their home. The walls groaned, and the roof began to collapse. Papa yelled for everyone to get out, but it was too late. The storm surge of wind and water ripped through the house, taking everything with it. When Lily finally came to, she was lying in the mud, shivering and alone. The farm was gone, reduced to splintered wood and twisted metal. The sky was still dark, and the rain continued to fall, washing away everything she knew. She called out for Mama, Papa, Tom, and Sam, but only the wind answered. The storm had taken everything from her in one terrible night, leaving her with nothing but the clothes on her back and a heart full of sorrow. The world she knew was gone. Lily wandered for days, her bare feet growing sore and blistered. The rain had stopped, but the sun beat down mercilessly. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, and her throat was parched. She searched for food, but the storm had wiped everything away. She ate wild berries she recognized, but they weren't enough. She walked along dusty roads, hoping to find someone who could help her. She saw other people, but they hurried past, their faces grim. Some looked at her with pity, but none offered assistance. She was just a lost, dirty child, and they had their own problems to worry about. Each night, she slept under the open sky, shivering with cold. She missed Mama's warm hugs and Papa's comforting stories. She missed her brother's playful laughter. Loneliness was a heavy weight on her small shoulders. She began to lose hope, wondering if she would ever find help or a kind face. The world seemed a cruel and unforgiving place, and she felt utterly alone, forgotten by everyone. Her strength was fading, and she didn't know how much longer she could keep going. High on a hill overlooking the dusty road stood a weathered ranch house. It belonged to Jedediah, a man as silent and rugged as the land he farmed. He was a solitary figure, his face lined with the stories of sun and wind. He spent his days tending to his cattle and mending fences, rarely speaking a word to anyone. From his porch he saw everything. He saw the travelers passing by, the changing seasons, and the slow rhythm of life. One day, he noticed a small figure walking along the road. He squinted, his eyes adjusting to the glare. It was a child, a girl, and she looked lost and weary. He watched her for a long time, his brow furrowed. He saw her stumble, her small frame swaying with exhaustion. He saw the way people passed her by, their faces averted. Jedediah was a man of few words, but he was not a man without compassion. He felt a pang of sympathy for the little girl, a feeling he hadn't experienced in a long time. He continued to watch, his silent gaze following her every move. He knew he couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Jedediah watched as Lily searched for scraps of food along the roadside, her small hands sifting through the dirt. He saw her try to drink from a muddy puddle, her face etched with desperation. His heart ached. He knew what it was like to be hungry, to be alone. He remembered his own difficult childhood, the hardships he had faced, and the kindness of strangers who had helped him along the way. He saw the holes in her clothes, the way she shivered even under the midday sun. He noticed her bare feet, red and swollen from walking on the rough ground. He imagined the pain she must be feeling, both physical and emotional. He saw the flicker of hope in her eyes, quickly replaced by disappointment each time someone turned away. He knew she was more than just a lost child. She was a survivor, and something about her resilience, her quiet determination, touched him deeply. He couldn't explain it, but he felt a connection to her, a sense of responsibility. He knew he had to do something, anything, to help her. He couldn't bear to watch her suffer any longer. The silent rancher felt an overwhelming urge to protect this vulnerable child. That night, under the cloak of darkness, Jedediah prepared a small bundle. He packed it with a loaf of freshly baked bread, a piece of cheese, and a warm blanket. He crept down the hill, careful not to be seen. He found Lily asleep under a tree, her face pale and drawn. He quietly placed the bundle beside her and retreated back to his ranch, his heart heavy with a mixture of hope and anxiety. He watched from a distance, ensuring she was safe. He wanted to offer more, but he didn't know how. He was a simple man, and used to expressing his emotions. The next morning, Lily awoke to find the unexpected gift. Her eyes widened in surprise. She looked around, but there was no one in sight. She cautiously opened the bundle and her stomach rumbled at the smell of the bread. She ate it slowly, savoring each bite. The cheese was rich and creamy, and the blanket provided a much-needed warmth. She felt a surge of gratitude towards the unknown benefactor. Someone cared. She wasn't completely alone after all. This small act of kindness gave her a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Night after night, the silent gifts appeared. Fresh bread, cheese, sometimes even a piece of cooked meat. Lily was always asleep when they arrived, waking up to find the mysterious bounty. She was filled with gratitude, but also a burning curiosity. Who was leaving these gifts? And why? She started staying awake later, hoping to catch a glimpse of her benefactor. She hid behind trees, watching the road. But whoever it was, they were careful and stealthy. She never saw anyone. The mystery deepened, fueling her determination to find out who was helping her. She decided to leave a small token of her appreciation. She found a smooth, gray stone and carefully placed it near where the gifts usually appeared. The next morning, the stone was gone, but the food was still there. This confirmed that someone was indeed watching her, someone who cared enough to help, but wanted to remain hidden. Lily felt both comforted and intrigued. She knew she had to find this secret friend. She had to thank them face to face. Her survival now hinged on more than just food. It hinged on finding the kindness that was keeping her alive. Lily devised a plan. Instead of waiting by the tree, she would follow the path that led away from it. She reasoned that whoever was bringing the food must be coming from somewhere. She waited until dusk, then quietly trailed in the direction she usually found the gifts. It was slow going. The path was overgrown and difficult to navigate in the fading light. She stumbled and scraped her knees, but she kept going, driven by her determination. Finally, she saw a light in the distance. A small, flickering light coming from a house on a hill. She crept closer, her heart pounding in her chest. She hid behind a large rock, peering up at the house. Then, she saw him. A tall, weathered man emerged from the house, carrying a bundle in his arms. He walked slowly and deliberately, down the path towards the tree where she usually slept. Lily recognized him instantly. It was the silent rancher she had seen tending his cattle. She watched in amazement as he placed the bundle by the tree, and then turned and walked back towards his house, disappearing into the darkness. It was Jedediah. He was the one who had been helping her all along. The mystery was solved. Now she had to decide what to do next. The next morning, Lily walked up the hill to Jedediah's ranch. She was nervous but determined. She reached the front door and hesitated for a moment before knocking softly. The door creaked open, and Jedediah stood there, his eyes widening in surprise. He didn't say a word, but his gaze softened when he saw her. Lily took a deep breath and spoke, her voice trembling slightly. "Thank you," she said, "for the food, for everything." Jedediah simply nodded, his expression unreadable. He stepped aside, gesturing for her to come inside. Lily cautiously entered the small, humble home. It was clean and tidy, but sparsely furnished. A fire crackled in the hearth, casting a warm glow over the room. Jedediah gestured towards the table, where a bowl of steaming stew sat waiting. He didn't speak, but his actions spoke volumes. He was offering her a warm meal, a safe place. Lily sat down at the table, tears welling up in her eyes. It was the first act of true kindness she had experienced since the storm. She looked up at Jedediah, her heart filled with gratitude. He might not speak, but she knew somehow that she was safe with him. He placed a piece of bread beside her bowl and gave her a small, almost imperceptible nod. The stew was delicious, the best meal she had ever tasted. It was more than just food. It was a symbol of hope, a promise of a new beginning. Lily began to live at the ranch. Jedediah didn't speak much, but he showed her what to do. He showed her how to feed the chickens, collect the eggs, and milk the cows. He taught her how to tend the vegetable garden, planting seeds and watering the rows. At first, she was clumsy and unsure, but Jedediah was patient. He would demonstrate the task, then stand back and watch as she tried. He would point and gesture, correcting her mistakes with a gentle hand. Slowly, she began to learn. She learned the rhythm of the ranch, the daily chores, and the importance of hard work. She spent her days working alongside Jedediah, learning from him without a single word being spoken. She learned to understand his grunts and nods, his subtle gestures and knowing glances. She learned that actions spoke louder than words. She helped him mend fences, repair the barn, and care for the animals. She discovered a love for the land, a connection to the animals, and a sense of purpose she hadn't felt since the storm. The ranch became her sanctuary, a place where she could heal and rebuild her life. Jedediah, her silent guardian, was teaching her more than just how to farm. He was teaching her how to live again. Days turned into weeks, and a silent understanding blossomed between Lily and Jedediah. They rarely spoke, but their presence filled a void in each other's lives. Lily found comfort in Jedediah's quiet strength, his steady presence a reassuring anchor in her turbulent world. Jedediah, in turn, found solace in Lily's youthful energy and unwavering spirit. They developed a routine, a silent dance of shared tasks and unspoken affection. They would eat their meals together, sitting in comfortable silence, each content in the other's company. In the evenings, they would sit on the porch, watching the sunset, their shoulders sometimes brushing, a silent acknowledgement of their growing bond. Lily began to see beyond Jedediah's gruff exterior, recognizing the kindness and compassion that lay beneath. She understood that his silence wasn't a sign of coldness, but rather a reflection of his deep emotions, emotions he struggled to express with words. Jedediah, too, saw past Lily's initial vulnerability, recognizing her resilience and her unwavering spirit. He saw a spark of hope in her eyes, a determination to rebuild her life, and he felt a surge of protectiveness towards her. Their bond was built not on words, but on shared experiences, mutual respect, and a silent understanding that transcended language. They were two lost souls who had found solace and companionship in each other's presence, creating a family built on unspoken love and unwavering support. One cold morning, Lily woke up to find a pair of sturdy, leather boots placed beside her bed. They were old and worn, but clean and well-maintained. She picked them up, her fingers tracing the worn leather. They weren't new, but they were strong and practical, perfect for working on the ranch. She knew instantly that Jedediah had given them to her. He hadn't said a word, but the boots spoke volumes. He had noticed her bare feet, how they were often cold and muddy, and he had found a way to help in his own quiet way. Lily slipped the boots on, and they fit perfectly. She walked around the room, feeling the solid support beneath her feet. It was more than just a pair of boots. It was a symbol of Jedediah's care and concern. It was a practical gesture that showed he was looking out for her, that he wanted her to be safe and comfortable. She went outside to find Jedediah, a smile on her face. He was mending a fence, his back to her. She walked up to him and stopped, tapping her foot on the ground to show him the boots. He turned around, his eyes meeting hers. He didn't smile, but she saw a flicker of warmth in his gaze. He nodded, a small, almost imperceptible nod that spoke volumes. Lily knew that he was happy she liked them. The boots were a simple gift, but they represented something much deeper. A silent promise of protection and support, a symbol of their growing bond. As the seasons changed, so did Lily. The pain of losing her family never truly went away, but it began to soften around the edges. The ranch became her haven, a place where she could remember them without being consumed by grief. She would often sit by the creek, remembering stories of her brothers, smiling through her tears, working alongside Jedediah, caring for the animals, and tending the land gave her a sense of purpose she thought she had lost forever. She felt a connection to the earth, a sense of belonging that slowly filled the void in her heart. Jedediah, too, played a crucial role in her healing. His silent presence, his unwavering support, and his quiet acts of kindness created a safe space for her to grieve and to rebuild. He never pushed her to talk about her pain, but he was always there to offer a comforting presence, a gentle hand, or a knowing glance. Slowly, Lily began to laugh again. She started to sing while she worked, her voice filling the ranch with a melody that had been silent for too long. She found joy in the simple things: the warmth of the sun, the beauty of the flowers, the playful antics of the animals. She realized that even in the face of immense loss, life could still be beautiful. She was building a new life, a new family with Jedediah, and she was grateful for every single moment. She was healing, slowly but surely, and finding her way back to happiness. The nearby townspeople had watched Jedediah from afar for years. They knew him as a recluse, a man who kept to himself and rarely interacted with anyone. They had seen him weather many storms, both literal and metaphorical, always remaining stoic and unyielding. When the storm ravaged the countryside, they saw Lily wandering the roads, a lost and heartbroken child. They offered their condolences, but few truly extended a helping hand. They were surprised when they noticed smoke rising from Jedediah's chimney again, and even more surprised when they saw Lily working alongside him in the fields. They observed the transformation in both of them. Jedediah seemed less withdrawn, his eyes holding a glimmer of warmth they hadn't seen before. Lily, once a picture of despair, now carried herself with a newfound confidence, her laughter echoing through the valley. The townspeople began to talk. They whispered about the unlikely pair, marveling at the positive impact they were having on each other. They saw Jedediah helping Lily with her chores, patiently teaching her the ways of the ranch. They saw Lily bringing light and laughter back into Jedediah's solitary life. They realized that sometimes the greatest acts of kindness are the ones that are done in silence, the ones that transform lives without a single word being spoken. They understood that Lily and Jedediah had found something special, something that transcended words and brought healing to their wounded souls. The community watched with admiration, recognizing the power of compassion and the beauty of an unexpected family. Lily wanted to express her gratitude to Jedediah in a way that he would understand. She knew he wasn't a man of fancy words or grand gestures. She had noticed how he always paused to admire the wildflowers that grew near the creek, especially the bright blue forget-me-nots. She decided to create a small garden for him, filled with his favorite flowers. She spent weeks secretly preparing the ground, clearing the weeds, and enriching the soil. She gathered seeds from the wildflowers near the creek and carefully planted them in neat rows. She planted forget-me-nots, daisies, and sunflowers, creating a colorful tapestry of blooms. She worked tirelessly, her hands sore and her back aching, but she didn't mind. She knew that this garden was more than just a collection of flowers. It was a symbol of her love and appreciation for Jedediah. Finally, the day came when the garden was complete. She led Jedediah to the spot, her heart pounding in her chest. He stopped, his eyes widening in surprise as he took in the sight of the colorful garden. He didn't say a word, but his gaze softened as he looked at the flowers, then at Lily. She knew that he understood. The garden was her way of saying thank you, of expressing the deep gratitude she felt for his kindness and his unwavering support. It was a gift from her heart, a silent expression of her love. As Jedediah gazed at the garden, his eyes lingered on the bright blue forget-me-nots. Lily watched him, her heart filled with anticipation. She had never seen him truly smile before. He had shown kindness, compassion, and unwavering support, but he had always remained stoic, his emotions hidden behind a wall of silence. Then it happened. A small, almost imperceptible curve appeared at the corner of his lips. It wasn't a wide, boisterous grin, but it was a smile nonetheless. It was a gentle, heartfelt smile that crinkled his eyes and softened the lines on his face. Lily's heart soared. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. She knew that this smile was more than just a fleeting expression. It was a reflection of his happiness, his gratitude, and his love for her. In that moment, their bond deepened even further. They understood each other without words, their hearts communicating in a language that transcended spoken language. Jedediah's smile was a validation of their connection, a silent acknowledgement of the family they had created. It was a symbol of hope, a promise of a brighter future, filled with love, laughter, and unspoken understanding. Lily knew that she had given Jedediah more than just a garden. She had given him a reason to smile, a reason to open his heart, and a reason to believe in the power of love. The silent rancher finally smiled. Lily and Jedediah, two lost souls who had weathered their own storms, had found solace and companionship in each other's presence. They had created a new family, a bond built not on blood, but on shared experiences, mutual respect, and a silent understanding that transcended words. The ranch became a symbol of their new beginning, a place where they could heal, grow, and rebuild their lives. They worked together, side by side, their silent partnership creating a haven of peace and tranquility. Lily had found a father figure in Jedediah, a strong and silent protector who had shown her kindness and compassion when she needed it most. Jedediah had found a daughter in Lily, a bright and spirited companion who had brought light and laughter back into his solitary life. They had both learned the power of unspoken love, the strength of silent support, and the beauty of an unexpected family. Their story was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the ability to overcome adversity, and the transformative power of kindness. They had proven that even in the darkest of times, hope could bloom, and that even two lost souls could find a new beginning, a new family, built on a foundation of silent understanding and mutual care. They had shown the world that love didn't always need words. Sometimes, it just needed a gentle hand, a knowing glance, and a heart full of compassion. The ranch was their sanctuary, their home, their new beginning. With Lily's help, the ranch began to thrive. Her youthful energy and enthusiasm breathed new life into the old farm. She had a natural talent for caring for the animals, and they seemed to respond to her gentle touch. The chickens laid more eggs, the cows gave more milk, and even the grumpy old horse seemed to perk up in her presence. She also had a knack for gardening. The vegetables grew bigger and juicier than ever before, and the flower garden became a riot of color. She experimented with new crops, trying different techniques she had learned from her parents. Jedediah, though still silent, watched with pride as Lily transformed the ranch. He saw her hard work and her dedication, and he knew that she was a valuable asset. He trusted her judgment and allowed her to take on more responsibility. Together, they made a formidable team. Jedediah provided the experience and the knowledge, while Lily brought the energy and the innovation. They complemented each other perfectly, their silent partnership creating a synergy that made the ranch more successful than it had ever been before. The community noticed the change, marveling at the vibrant energy that now emanated from the once isolated farm. The ranch became a symbol of hope, a testament to the power of kindness and the beauty of a new beginning. The animals were healthy, the crops were bountiful, and the ranch, under their care, was thriving. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange, pink, and purple. A gentle breeze rustled through the leaves of the trees, carrying the scent of wildflowers and freshly cut hay. The sounds of the day slowly faded, replaced by the chirping of crickets and the distant hooting of an owl. Lily and Jedediah sat on the porch, their rocking chairs creaking softly in rhythm with the evening breeze. They didn't speak, but their silence was comfortable, filled with an unspoken understanding. Jedediah was whittling a piece of wood, his skilled hands carving a small bird. Lily was humming a quiet tune, her gaze fixed on the star-studded sky. The air was filled with a sense of contentment, a feeling of peace and tranquility that had eluded them both for so long. They had found solace in each other's presence, a refuge from the storms of life. The unspoken love between them filled the space, a warmth that radiated from their hearts and enveloped the ranch. The fireflies began to dance, their tiny lights twinkling in the darkness, creating a magical spectacle. Lily leaned her head against Jedediah's shoulder, a silent gesture of affection. He paused his whittling, his hand gently resting on her head. They sat there, in comfortable silence, two lost souls who had found their way home, their hearts filled with gratitude and an unspoken love that transcended words. The quiet evening on the ranch was a testament to their bond, a symbol of their new beginning and a promise of a brighter future, filled with peace, contentment, and unwavering support. That night, as Lily drifted off to sleep, she dreamt of her family. She saw Mama's warm smile, Papa's strong arms, and her brother's playful laughter. They were all standing in a field of wildflowers, bathed in golden sunlight. They beckoned her to come closer, their eyes filled with love and reassurance. Lily ran towards them, her heart overflowing with joy. She wrapped her arms around them, feeling their warmth and their love. They whispered words of comfort and encouragement, telling her that they were proud of her, that they were watching over her, and that they were happy that she was safe and loved. They told her that Jedediah was a good man, that he would take care of her, and that she should cherish the family they had created. As the dream began to fade, Lily saw her family waving goodbye, their smiles radiant and their hearts filled with peace. She woke up with a start, a single tear rolling down her cheek. But it wasn't a tear of sadness. It was a tear of gratitude. She knew that her family was at peace, that they were watching over her, and that they were happy that she had found a new home and a new family. She smiled, a genuine smile that reached her eyes and warmed her heart. She knew that she would always remember them, but she also knew that she was loved and protected, and that she had a bright future ahead of her. The dream was a reminder that even in the face of loss, love could endure, and that even in the darkest of times, hope could bloom. She felt her family's love surrounding her, giving her strength and peace. Lily knew that she would never forget her family. They would always be a part of her, their memories etched in her heart, their love a guiding light in her life. She would carry their laughter, their wisdom, and their spirit with her wherever she went. But she also knew that she had found a new home, a new family with Jedediah. He had given her a second chance, a place to heal, a purpose to live for. He had shown her that even in the face of immense loss, love could endure and hope could bloom again. She looked forward to the future, to the seasons that would come and go, to the challenges and the joys that life would bring. She knew that she would face them with courage, with resilience, and with the unwavering support of her silent guardian. She envisioned herself growing old on the ranch, tending the garden, caring for the animals, and sharing her love with future generations. She saw herself telling stories of her family, keeping their memories alive, and passing on their values to those who would come after her. The ranch was more than just a place to live. It was a legacy of love, a testament to the power of kindness, and a symbol of a new beginning. Lily knew that she had found her forever home, her forever family, and her forever happiness. She would honor her past, embrace her present, and look forward to a future filled with hope, love, and unwavering support. She and Jedediah would continue their silent dance of shared lives, forever bound by a love that needed no words. The future was bright, full of promise, and built on a foundation of compassion and understanding.